Hello, I'm Idan Basre. I'm a product manager at Microsoft Cloud of Security. And today we'll talk about how you can leverage Microsoft Information Protection and Microsoft Cloud of Security to protect your non-cloud Microsoft application. So first of all, let's talk about what is Microsoft Information Protection and what is Microsoft Cloud of Security. Microsoft Information Protection gives you the ability to take all your files that are through all the different workloads, if it's non-Microsoft Cloud applications, through Google Drive, Workday, Salesforce, Box, if it's through your Exchange, Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive in Microsoft, if it's through endpoints that you want to manage and to monitor and control, and if it's on-prem files that you want to be notified and manage. So we take all these workloads and we have a unified place to see and to manage your policies with unified labeling, and you see all your alerts and the possibility of remediate these alerts. All this will come in only one portal, and this is the holistic view of the Microsoft Information Protection portal. And when we go to Microsoft Cloud of Security, known as MCAS, it's a CASB solution. In MCAS, you have the security and compliance capabilities that sit in the middle between the user and your organization to the cloud application, and not only Microsoft Cloud application, to all different cloud applications. We give the ability to sanction and unsanction apps. We give the ability to take all the users, activities of the user, and the files that are being modified and files at rest, and to manage them. And we give the ability in MCAS to control in-session real-time policies. If it's block download, block upload, block certain activities that are being done real-time. So now with COVID, we heard from customers several kind of scenarios and several kind of requirements. We mapped all these requirements to 3 different requirements. First, customers said, I need to control sensitive data in non-Microsoft applications. Customers want to know which sensitive data is on their cloud applications and then to control it. Second, customers said, I need to control end user using sensitive data in unmanaged devices. Today with COVID, and even before COVID, end users bring their own unmanaged devices. If it's employees or if it's users out of the organization, it just counts for several for a limit period. Users can come with unmanaged devices. This is why you want to control what end users see and how end users use this sensitive information in the organization. And third, customers said that now with COVID and the new normal of COVID, I need to prevent users from oversharing. Users that overshare sensitive information can be harmful and can damage your organization with oversharing this sensitive information. So with all this increase of cloud app usage, it is difficult to validate and see whether your sensitive data is and what you can do with it. But with a unified and holistic view of a product that gives you where all the files are, if it's in rest or real time, and you can manage it, we can go through all these requirements and to see how we can handle this situation. So for the first requirement, I need to control sensitive data in non-Microsoft application. In MCAS, you can discover sensitive files. You can, after you've discovered the sensitive file, you can control them. Control them can be protect several files, can make these files private with non-external sharing, and you can notify the file owner and he will change it. So all different scenarios, you can choose whether, when, what, and what is suitable for your organization. Here in the picture, we see a file page with all different kind of files that here, for example, it's filtered by box. And you see that file was labeled with a protection label that is encrypted label. If we will go to the policy that you will create, you can see every workload and its own governance section. In Box, for example, you can notify a specific user, remove the external user or the direct shared link, put in a user quarantine or an admin quarantine, or trash the file. And a very powerful capability is apply or remove classification level. Not only regular classification level, but also protect these files with a protection classification label that is encrypt the file. And when the files go outside the organization, the user, a user that that is not from the organization, cannot see the file. For the second requirement of customers, I need to control end user using sensitive data in unmanaged devices. We can have two approaches. First approach is to block download of files with sensitive data to unmanaged device. When a user that come to the organization and enter the organization from unmanaged device and, for example, enter to Box and try to download a file with sensitive information, this action can be blocked by just defining which sensitive information you want to block. And MCAS can discover these files immediately when the user tries to download and block it. Not only this, MCAS can not blocking the file download, but protect the file download. That means, again, we can encrypt when we download the file. And the second approach, that we can label with classification label with protection files at rest, and not when we using real-time session, but when we do it at rest, just to label all the sensitive information in these files. So now we'll see a quick demo of these capabilities in MCAS and in end user experience. The first quick demo is about file policies. File policies are to files at rest, not files to govern in real time in session, just to files at rest. So first, we filter all the files to catch by your policy, by your desired policy. And after we catch all the files that you filtered, we can govern them or alert as you wish. So how we can filter the files? We have two filters. First is the metadata filter and then the content filter. The metadata filter have several fields that you can filter by. If it's access level, that have public or external, internal, etc. If it's the app that you want, or just to choose all the apps that are connected to MCAS, you already connected. If it's Salesforce, ServiceNow, WebEx, Workday, SharePoint, OneDrive, Box, etc. The classification level of the files, if they have already the collaborators, the file ID, the file name, and etc. Several more granularity of metadata filters. After you choose all your metadata, and I forgot to tell you about the last modifier and created filter that is very powerful capability to filter on as well, and to narrow your filter and policy to exactly what you want. After you filter the metadata, you choose what to filter with the inspection method. That is, we inspect the content of the file that was matched. When you choose the inspection method, you want to choose which sensitive types you want to catch. So we have 155 built-in sensitive information type that we maintain and improve all the time, that will give the highest for a true positive and highest possibility to catch your desired sensitive information type. And you can also use custom sensitive information type that you will build by yourself. If we will choose, for example, social security number, we can see here that we have predefined in MCAS and Microsoft DLP engine, Europe social security number, Spain, and US social security number. And then we choose these social security numbers. After you choose these, we can choose which governance and to which application. So you have here, we connected Google Workspace, so you can govern in Google Workspace files, Box, SharePoint, OneDrive, Dropbox, Salesforce, and AWS. But you can connect also other services like ServiceNow, WebEx, Workday, Dropbox that I mentioned, and etc. So in Box, for example, you can send alerts to the owner or send alert to the less file editor. You can remove external direct share link, and you can, for example, put in user quarantine or change shared link access level. And the best and the most powerful capability is to apply classification label, not only non-protected, but also protected. The second policy that we can have is the session policy. These policies are to control and block real-time activities. So if we can choose block certain activities or control file download or control file upload. If we'll go to control file download, we can here filter by different filters. That is, which is the apps, which devices. We choose here device, for example, and we will choose does not equal to these managed devices. That means that we filter to all the users that enter from unmanaged device. And we choose here app as box and SharePoint on OneDrive. We can have more filters, but we don't choose right now, as IP address, location, specific users, etc. After we do this, we can use some content inspection. And here we can choose as well the content inspection of sensitive information type from social security number. And then we can choose how to govern in the real-time policy. We can block the file download, or we can protect, that means encrypt the file download when this file is being downloaded. So if a user from unmanaged device try to download sensitive information file, it will be here blocked, or it will be protected. And when you will try to open it from a user that doesn't have the credentials for to see the protected file, it will be not allowed from each side. And now we can have the same with upload files without protection, and we can have some block activities. If we will choose block activities, we can have another filter that which activity type we want to block. So if we will look here, we have print and cut copy activities that we want to block. That means that every time that a user from a non-managed device will try to cut and copy or print data in a file that has sensitive information data, it will be blocked. And if we will go to a user that enter from a private session, if you will see, this is a private browser and in a private mode, and this is a user called Sylvia, and Sylvia entered from a unmanaged device because it's a private browser, a private mode of the browser. You will see here that when Sylvia tried to open it, it will be okay, she can open it, but when she tried to download the file, immediately the action will be blocked because we created a policy in session that blocks sensitive information type to be downloaded. So now that we finished our quick demo for the two use cases that we talked about, we will go through the third scenario that customer talked about. The third scenario is regarding that COVID new normal, customers need to prevent oversharing. Oversharing can harm your organization. If a user that don't allow, that is not supposed to look at sensitive information, is being shared with sensitive information, this can make a huge damage to the organization. So as we saw in the other two scenarios, you can remove external sharing and you can remove a direct share link. But here we can do all these capabilities within one place, the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center. And as you see, we have different workloads to prevent oversharing. If it's Exchange email, SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams chat, devices, the endpoint DLP devices, and the non-Microsoft apps through Microsoft Cloud App Security. So when you create a policy in Microsoft Information Protection, that is the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center, you can choose which workload you want. And not only which workload you want, which user in the devices, which instance, that means which application you want to control in Microsoft Cloud App Security, and which site in SharePoint. So we have the granularity to narrow and to choose exactly what you want. When you create the rule from non-Microsoft application, you can see that we have the ability to restrict for as well as the same as MCAS to different kind of workloads. So here within Box, you have the remove external user and remove direct shared link in order to prevent oversharing. And today we have the ability to adjust the policy match to file owner and to trash file. In the future, we will have the ability to apply labels and protect files as well, and to have the same granularity like we will have in MCAS. Next step for you in order to enjoy and to get all these values from MCAS and Microsoft Information Protection is first configure MCAS and then configure your DLP policies. After you configure these two, you can explore all the activity and alerts and in the Activity Explorer of Microsoft Information Protection that give you all the visibility of what happens in your organization with labels, with different workloads, with different users, and all the data that you need in order to control sensitive information in your organization. Resources for Microsoft Cloud of Security and Microsoft Information Protection are being added at the end of the presentation that you can enter it and go over them in your free time. Let us know if you have any feedback or another requirement, and we will do our best in order to give you the exact requirement that you have. Hope you enjoy and benefit from the webinar on Microsoft Information Protection and Microsoft Cloud of Security and how to leverage protecting the sensitive information data that you have in your organization. Thanks for watching.